Hi, this is Colleen from Keeping the Peace Defensive Handgun Training for Women, and I want to talk to you today about a defensive mindset. And I'm going to tell you how I came to have one, how that process happened, and I'm also going to challenge you to really look into the way you think and decide if you really do have a defensive mindset. And this is mainly for the ladies out there. That's who I'm really talking to. So men, I hope you're not bored if you're watching this, but this is going to be kind of a personal video. In my late teens, once at 16 and again at 19, I had something happen to me twice, two different situations, where I would have been justified in drawing a defensive weapon and taking someone's life in defense of my own. When those two things happened, I was at an age where, number one, I couldn't legally own a firearm, and number two, if I had had one or had access to one, I was so frightened of them that I wouldn't have touched it, much less actually used it effectively in my own defense. So I had no defense. There were only 3 things that I learned from those two situations, and it took me a long time to even get to where I could discuss this with someone, or to actually, heal from it enough to let someone else learn from my mistakes. But I learned, number one, don't open a hotel room door. If you're a woman staying alone in a hotel, don't open the hotel room door to anyone, no matter who they say they are. Number two, I learned, if you're with friends, don't put the burden of your own personal protection on those friends. Don't expect those friends to be your line of defense. You must be your own. So you must make wise decisions about where you go, who you keep company with, and the things that you do. Number 3, I learned, do not accept a drink from anyone, whether it be alcoholic, non-alcoholic, doesn't really matter. But if someone buys you or offers you a drink, ladies, absolutely do not accept it, period, by your own, no matter how nice they seem to be. So those are the 3 things that I learned. And I came out of those two situations thinking that I had somehow earned what I got because I had made stupid decisions. Those 3 things that I did were unwise. And as long as I go through the rest of my life and don't do those 3 unwise things, then nothing bad is going to happen. And praise the Lord, I haven't had another situation like that. And that's really good. Now I feel like I'm prepared to handle it, and I hope it never happens again. If it does, I really, really feel sorry for the person that tries it. But if you watched my last video and you saw all that stuff that I had strapped to my body and you were thinking, golly, she must be really paranoid. I'm not paranoid. I'm not paranoid at all, actually. I'm prepared for things that I know from personal experience happen in the world. I know that it's not true that if I'm nice to everyone that they'll be nice to me. It doesn't work that way. It's an evil world. It's a fallen world. We live in a world that's ridden with sin. And there are plenty of people out there that would love to make a victim out of you. And you have to decide whether or not you're going to be a soft target or a hard target. Are you going to be a victim or a survivor? And that's your choice and your choice alone. And you're the only one that can take into your own hands the defense of your life. Now, I'm not saying that God can't protect your life, because He does, but He uses means. And one of the biggest means is your knowledge of weaponry, hand-to-hand combat, those types of things that can help protect your life if something happens. And the biggest thing out of all of that, you can know how to use every weapon in the world, but if you don't have a defensive mindset, a situational awareness about yourself, none of those weapons are going to do you any good at all. So that's what I'm really talking about. Even if something bad has happened to you, has it caused you to have a defensive mindset? Because you would think it would. But I can speak from personal experience that it doesn't necessarily happen that way. After that last incident when I was 19, I lived another 15 years before I started really understanding the way the world works. The world isn't, there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on. And the way other people treat me is not dependent upon the way I behave or the way I treat them. Because the criminal mind is not reasonable. The criminal mind doesn't take into account how you behave. The criminal mind is completely selfish. It has something in mind that it wants, and it's willing to do whatever it has to do to get what it wants. And you might be what it wants. So you have to carry yourself in such a way that you don't look like an easy catch. And I believe that now, finally, I do. And it took a long time to get there. But if you were looking at that last video and you were wondering why on earth, a woman would do that, why would she have all that stuff on there? It's all there for a purpose, and maybe one day I'll do another EDC video with more of the reasoning behind why I carry each one of those things and what I might do with them. I may do that in the future. If you're interested in that, leave me a comment and let me know. But women, ladies, if you've already had something bad happen to you, which you probably have, 1 in every 4 women has been raped or assaulted in their lifetime, either already has or will be. A lot of us have had it happen more than once. There have been a few of the classes I've taught where I've decided it was appropriate to share the things that happened to me. And hands usually go up in the classroom saying, yeah, I've experienced that. So I hope that you'll take away from this video a desire to have a time of introspection. Consider the way you think about the world. Do you just trust everybody off the cuff, just naturally? I mean, anybody that you encounter in the world, do you just automatically trust them? Or do they have to earn your trust? When you leave your house in the morning, do you leave, purse on the shoulder, hands full of stuff, cell phone crammed on your shoulder, fiddling with your keys, and not have a clue about what's going around, what's going on in your general periphery, not to mention what's going on, feet out, where someone could be considering you as a target? Do you change up your schedule, or do you do the exact same thing every single day? Do you keep some type of personal defense weapon somewhere within reach of your body at any given time? Or do you just leave it in the nightstand or leave it in the glove box of your car and think all the bad stuff's going to happen when you're in your car? I hope not. But a lot of you do. I know you do, because I've got a lot of students that tell me, well, I'm just going to keep it in the glove box, or I'm just going to keep it at the house. But the 2 incidents that I had, I was obviously not at home. And I never woke up either of those 2 mornings thinking, something bad's going to happen today, I've got to be ready. You don't know when it's coming. So, I hope that you'll really consider this. And if you don't already train for your own defense, I hope that you'll start today. And I'm not saying you have to come to me. There's plenty of reputable training schools all over the country, and I could recommend someone, if you're interested. But it's something to really take seriously. And don't just buy a gun and throw it in your purse, because in the heat of a moment when you're being attacked, you are not going to figure out how to, number 1, draw it out of the purse safely and effectively and quickly, or how to press the trigger well so that you get your shots on target. You're not going to figure any of that out at the last second when someone's attacking you and your heart rate's up and you're, feel like you got to go to the restroom all over yourself and all that sort of stuff that'll happen. You got to train now. You got to prepare now. Don't just go to the range and shoot targets. Train. Really think through scenarios, all the different things that can happen to you. Think through them. What would I do if this happened? And I don't want this to be an hour-long video, so I better tie it up. But please leave me a comment if something's happened to you, and you don't have to tell me what's happened to you, but if you've gone through this mental process of getting here, or if something's happened to you and you're not at a place yet where you have a defensive mindset, but you want to get there and you don't quite know how, I'd love to help you. Or if you're interested in learning about self-defense and you live in an area that you're not close to me and you wonder who could I go to, let me know and I will try to find someone for you. I just want bad things that happened to me to be able to be turned around into something good that could help somebody else. And up to this point in my life, I've shared it with very, very few people, and I'm sitting here sharing it with you too. But it happens to so many of us, and it can be turned into something good. It has turned me into someone who's passionate about training women to defend themselves, because I don't want what happened to me to happen to them. And if it's already happened to them, I don't want them to live the rest of their life scared to death that it's going to happen again. Because I refuse to be controlled by fear of someone who would try to make me into a victim. It's not going to happen. I'm not a victim, and I'm not going to be. So, hope it's helpful. This is Colleen from Keeping the Peace. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.